Hi everyone, I'm Julia Puck
And I'm Gruenke
from The Balanced Runner, and we specialize in helping runners improve their running form and performance using the Feldenkrais Method. In today's video, we're going to explore what it might be about your running form that's causing aches and pains and making it so tough to finish long runs. We'll give you the running form guidance we give our clients when they come to us for help with their marathon training.
Every year in August, a lot of first-time marathoners come to us for help with their form because as their mileage goes up over what they're used to, they begin to develop aches and pains and the early signs of injury. And if you're watching, you can probably relate to this. You follow the running form advice that you read in books and magazines, perhaps what your coach tells you, what you hear from friends, and it doesn't help much, if at all. There are a number of possible reasons for this, but very likely the cause is one of a few very common mistakes that first-time marathoners make with their form. So let's take a look as Julia demonstrates these, and then the correct way of running. All right, the first really common running form mistake is running upright. There's a difference between slouching and leaning, and so we're not saying you should slouch, but when you run, you have to lean forward from the ankles, and the amount that you lean depends on your speed. So you see Julia running upright now. Now let's take a look at her leaning forward from the ankles. The second common running form mistake is overstriding. You may have heard about this one. That means landing with your foot in front of your hip joint rather than underneath it. Let's take a look at Julia overstriding. And now let's take a look at her landing with her feet under her hip joints. The third common running form mistake is heel striking, which means landing on your heels and rolling through to the balls of your toes. You want to make sure that you're not trying to land on your heels. Ideally, your landing should be on the middle of your foot or near the ball of your foot. Changing your foot strike is a complicated issue, both what part of your foot you land on and where your foot is relative to your hip joint, because your feet land where they have to in order to keep you from falling over. So to change your foot strike, you have to change what you do with your torso, arms, and head, and it's a change you should never try to force. We'll talk more about how to do it in a future video. The fourth common running form mistake is pulling your shoulders back and swinging your arms forward and backwards, that is front to back. Running depends on a counter rotation of the upper and lower body, which generates power for running and reduces bouncing and impact. This counter rotation makes your arms swing on a diagonal pathway, not front to back. Now let's take a look at Julia allowing this healthy counter rotation of her upper body and her lower body. And the fifth common running form mistake is tightening your core. The other half of the counter rotation I just spoke about is the movement of your pelvis. And if you grip your abs in a corset-like action, you'll restrict the movement and again significantly increase your impact and overstress your legs. This is a classic cause of IT band problems, knee pain, and plantar fasciitis. And now let's take a look at Julia running, allowing her pelvis to move in a healthy fashion. So that's a brief explanation of each of these. Learning healthy running mechanics is a process that can take a while, but hopefully just being aware of these key elements can help you begin to feel better.
And most important of all, never run through pain. Pain is your body's way of telling you that something is wrong with the way you run. If your running hurts, it's time to start looking into changing your form gradually. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more running form tips.